Good morning. Happy Monday, everybody. This is your just video check-in for the week. You guys have made it to the last module. So I just want to kind of go over a couple things to make sure you're all ready. And then I also wanted to say a few words about the final exam because you have the opportunity to take that at the end of this week and over the weekend if you would like to have it done before the July 4th holiday. First summer session is a little weird because we have that holiday right at the very end. And I know some of you might have travel plans or just would like to enjoy the holiday without worrying about the course. So I'm just looking at the Module 4 on Canvas just to offer you a few reminders. You'll be reading one novel. It's also shorter, like Silas Marner. A lot of modernist novels are. They wrote kind of much more sparsely than the Victorians did. Modernists often did not include quite the level of detail that some Victorianists did. So just remember the overview page. It will talk about Auden's poem, Musée des Beaux-Arts, and it will talk about Rebecca West's novel, Return of the Soldier. Both of these, the poem and the novel, are informed by the war context. So a lot of the overview material, the explore material for the quiz, and some of the videos to watch are kind of helping you understand World War I and World War II and how the literary movement called modernism was informed by that war context. And you'll notice with Auden's poem, it's a lot about suffering and just kind of thinking about how he was kind of meditating on suffering in a different way because of war. So that's sort of the main lens that we're using for this module. Just like always, you'll have the Engage quiz that will be due Tuesday at midnight, and it will focus on Auden's poem or also on if you choose one, sorry, I was just thinking through that. If you choose some of the pondering questions, which you can answer, we'll deal with Return of the Soldier. So if you've already started reading that novel, you could potentially do that for one of the Engage quizzes as well. And then the discussion board will focus on Return of the Soldier. And you'll see that's due Friday at midnight, just like they always have been. I'm about to make available the final exam module, sorry. You won't be able to access the actual exam yet, but you will see in that exam module an exam review sheet, and you will see a sort of a discussion thread that's called exam Q&A. So if you have a question as you're looking over the review sheet, instead of having you just email me that question, I would rather you post it to this discussion thread where I can then reply. Because if you have a question, odds are so do some of your classmates. So this will be an easier way for me to answer lots of questions if there are about the exam. In brief, the exam setup pulls from the pondering questions in each module on the overview pages and the discussion board questions. Some of the questions have been slightly reframed, but it's all types of questions you've seen before. And on that review sheet, there are listed about 13 total questions. The exam is computer generated and it will just pull at random 5 questions from those 13, and then you'll need to answer those 5 on the exam. All of this is explained on the review sheet, but so it's short answer. So I'm asking for 6 to 8 sentences. I give you some specific instructions about making sure you use specific evidence, like we've talked about all class from the literature, and that you use evidence, not just from one spot, but kind of across the poem or across the novel. And so again, all of that, it talks about all that on the review sheet. So I encourage you to look through the review sheet and to prepare ahead of time. So essentially you have all of the questions that you might possibly get on the exam are listed on that review sheet. So if you just spend some time looking through those questions, thinking about how you would answer them, You have 75 minutes to take the exam, which is roughly about 15 minutes a question, which is ample time. The only reason I would be concerned about time is if you do not look at the questions at all on the review sheet ahead of time and you open the exam and you're seeing the questions for the first time. Then you might feel a little rushed because you're having to think about your answer and then type it up. So again, I recommend utilize that review sheet. There will be no surprises on the exam. You know the questions are coming from there. And go ahead and look at it sooner rather than later so that if you have questions or you're confused about any of the questions on the exam, you can ask, you can post that question to discussion board and I'll respond back. So I think that's all that I want to say about the exam now. I will do another check-in kind of midweek. To remind people to look at the review sheet. I am going to open the exam actually on Friday. So again, for those of you who just kind of want to get done early, but it will be open through the 6th or the 7th. I have to double check on that. So about 5 days it will be open. So some of you may, again, want to choose to take it before the 4th. And so it's open early enough you can take it kind of over the weekend. For those of you who aren't ready and you need to wait till after the 4th, that's fine. You can take it then too. But this week is kind of a lighter week of reading. You have a short poem and a short novel, and that's it. So hopefully some of you will feel like you can be done with that and wrap the course up. So I'll check in on Wednesday about the exam, see if there's any questions. I'll be checking that discussion board. As always, please feel free to email me if you're confused about anything in this module. I hope that you enjoy and get a taste of modernist literature. It's a little bit different than Victorian literature, which you were just doing this past module. And I just want to end by saying I was really proud of everyone with the discussion board, engaging with another person's ideas about the text. You guys did really great with that. So I hope you're proud of yourselves. And I enjoyed seeing kind of what you picked up from Silas Marner, which is one of my favorite novels. George Eliot is one of my favorite writers. So thank you for doing such a great job with that discussion board. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and enjoy your last week of reading for our course.